what we call the Rant Network. It's a podcast dedicated on giving you unfiltered, uncensored experiences from a variety of perspectives, some ideas. You know, where in the world would you think that if you murdered someone in the name of Allah, you would be a martyr? And you can fly Turkish Airlines for 50% off. Let me repeat that again. If you murdered someone, you can fly Turkish Airlines for 50% off. I'm not joking with you. You can Google Turkish Airlines martyred discount, and you're going to read all about how anyone of a family member that murdered a Jew can fly at 50% off. Time out. David, yes.
Well, let's be careful here, okay? Before we get yelled at. So Turkish Airlines, a member of Star Alliance, has had this discount on there for a number of years. It's only come again to light recently that now all these martyrs, quote unquote, that are going to be classified as martyrs, can fly Turkish Airlines at half off. How lovely. But this is the mindset of the world, Stuart. This has been the mindset of the world, that we are just ignoring simply evil. Evil is being ignored. And I'll give you a couple of examples, okay, of how we ignore evil. The United Nations last week wants to condemn Israel, but won't condemn Hamas. Israel's the perpetrator here. Israel's the one who's guilty. And most of the countries want to fry Israel for what they have done. But to declare Hamas, who killed, slaughtered, maimed, burnt 1,400 people, including babies, nope. They're not to be condemned in any way, shape, or form. Evil. Universities, hold on. University campuses, Stuart. We know what's going on. The cesspool that is Ivy, or as my friend likes to say, poison Ivy. It is no longer a place of higher education, but of higher ignorance and stupidity, where the mass who go to those schools have no idea what September 11, 2001 is. They are not old enough, or they were too young to remember the impact that it had on the United States. It's also a cesspool of immigrants coming here, not immigrants, pardon me, student visas. Kids who come here to school for their student visas to learn and to contaminate the education system, which includes professors. Oh, and by the way, what?
Yep. But speaking of professors, Raul Jibril, visiting professor at University of Miami, on CNN, decided to say this is all an Israeli problem, an Israeli episode, and had nothing to do with Hamas.
Correct. And this, Stuart, is what I'm referring to. The cesspool that is the media continues to bring on liars, cheaters. I mean, let's think about it. We have proof, including from Hamas themselves.
Yep.
Who said, look what we did.
Yep. Because in their religion and their warped perception, they're martyred by murdering Jews, women, children.
Let's be careful here. Let's be careful.
Because you know what? I still believe that their version of religion isn't the major religion as we know as Muslim.
No, you got to be careful between what they believe in, what their imams continue to preach as hate, and the real essence of Islam. And I'm sorry to say that, listen, we have extremists in all cases, in all religions and everywhere. But the fact is that they've taken this and they've decided they want a global jihad and they want to go after. Listen, the point is, Stuart, is that the evil has conquered, has taken over. And I'll give you, the amazing thing is that even the media today and yesterday and the day before have tried to corner the White House, other officials, to condemn Israel for their lack of care to humanitarian needs in Gaza. Not one fucking reporter reminds the world that Hamas slaughtered 1,400 people, kidnapped now what's now known over 240 people, and yet all they want to focus on is when a Jew touches an Arab, not when an Arab kills, slaughters. You know, it's a disgusting thing that the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations and his entire team today are walking around with yellow stars, similar to what was worn in Europe in the 1930s, as a symbol that the world has learned nothing in the last century, that hate towards Jews still has a place in this disgusting world.
David, a snake lifted its head and the world embraced it. This is an episode that repeats itself in every generation. This generation seems to be no different than the last. But I want you to think about this a little differently. Today, we have documentation and speed of documentation that didn't exist before. The atrocities are in everyone's face. So you would think that the people would see this with non-edited video of what the Israelis did in the last incursion. But the videos that are unedited, that were recorded on GoPros, that go viral, that we can't even watch, on how they slaughtered the throats, the women, the babies, the burning. We can't make this up. It's on their body cams. And the funny part is, they have the nerve to say that those videos aren't real, that they aren't really doing this. And you know what, David? Jews around the world like to put their head in the sand. Jews like to stick within their communities and mind their own business. That's the failure of the Jewish community. And you want to know something? They want to know, why are Jewish people so neurotic? Because the neurotic Jews left Nazi Germany, left Nazi Poland, left Nazi France. They escaped the war, the neurotic ones. Because all the calm and complacent ones were of the 6 million Jews slaughtered between 1939 and 1944. And I want to remind you, to those CBC, BBC, MSNBC, the world is documenting you. All of the people in the world that continue to fly Turkish Airlines because it's cheaper to get to Israel, that fly Turkish Airlines and give any money into their economy, need to understand they are applauding the murder of innocent people because they're innocent.
Stuart, you want to hear something crazy?
Well, I thought that was crazy. You can go crazier?
No, I want to tell you something crazy. So, you know, we have been here, and for the last almost 3 years, we have been accused of being anti-Democrats, not anti-democratic, anti-Democrats.
Yes.
That we hear and we crap all over the Biden administration. And while I have to applaud, and we've said it numerous times, the Biden administration for holding its tongue a few times and standing by Israel, and for Joe Biden to fly to Israel and all the rest of that stuff, I have to say that I cannot criticize Joe Biden that much. There are things I would like to see changed, including getting rid of his hateful anti-Jewish squad. But that's a different thing. But Stuart, last week, one of Israel's least favorite secretaries of state, Hillary Clinton, was on stage and admitted that a ceasefire with Hamas is a colossal error for Israel. It would mean rearming Hamas and a gift. The word she used, a gift to Hamas.
Do you not understand that they have rearmed? Okay, listen, 2005, we gave the Gaza to the Gazan people. 2006-7, they elected Hamas. They elected Hamas.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah,
it's
yeah.
by force, by not force, there was no one arguing, or they were slaughtered. You know what? If everyone in Gaza put down their weapon, there'd be peace in Gaza.
Yeah, except did you hear the latest crackpot move now?
What's the latest?
Because what you're talking about, you're quoting Golda Meir. And now to twist Golda Meir's words, they're saying, okay, Israel, go lay down your arms. So the idea here is not that they want peace, but they want a piece of Israel. I-E-C-E, not P-E-A-C-E, a peace. We want Israel in pieces. There's no interest. The hate and the evil seems to have no bounds. We saw what happened in a Russian airport. We see what's going on in college campuses.
There have been millions of leaflets circulated throughout North Gaza. Leave. We're coming and stop. They're now feeding in breaking news, mass casualties, because the Israelis went after a head of
Stuart, how fascinating is it that the world needs days to count bodies, but Hamas miraculously could tell you that there are hundreds of deaths, right? They have a miraculous counting system. On one side, the Biden administration and others have said nothing that comes out of Hamas is fact. You got to fact check it. But then the moment Hamas says, oh, Israel scratched us.
You know what? They trust Hamas as a news reporting agencies like Al Jazeera more than they trust anyone that's involved with Donald Trump. Did you notice that?
No, Stuart, but that's the thing. This is the evil. This is the racism, the hate. This is the vitriol. When you have a reporter who doesn't listen to the answer and wants the Biden administration to condemn Israel, this is what they want to do. They are trying to get Israel to be found guilty. You know, I applaud Fox News for the amount of times they've talked about how the United Nations is the greatest cesspool in the world for bullies and haters, and how many resolutions have been passed against Israel in the last 10 years versus the rest of the world combined. Stuart, do you know who this week will be heading the Human Rights Council at the United Nations, Stuart? Do you know who the UN put in? The Islamic Republic of Iran. So when the inmates run the asylum and the world goes, yeah, any wonder why we're so screwed up?
You know what, David?
The hate is
real,
unimaginable. And you want to know what, Stuart? When I found out for a Halloween party this past weekend at one university that two people dressed up as Hamas terrorists, brandishing knives, threatening people at the party, smashing property and smashing cars, and they called that fun. And the university's response was, well, you know, we really got to cool down the anti-Semitism and the Islamophobia. What the hell? What in God's name is wrong with people? Hate is hate. And stop coding it with bullshit. It's a lie. The amount of anti-Semitism today is skyrocketing. Don't compare that.
David, wait, skyrocketing. Do you know the FBI statistic more in the United States, more than 60% of all hate crimes are against Jews? I'm sorry. It's the Jews that keep their heads in the sand and just say, well, it wasn't so bad, didn't affect me. Again, this is a problem that affects everyone. Because you know what they don't understand? The Ayatollah Khomeini thinks that martyrdom is the way to go. Nuking United States is the way to go. This is the Satan. They don't get it still, David. They don't get it. David,
no, they get
we got to wrap it up.
It's just the people, unfortunately, and you have found those stupid people and you called one out loud on Monday. It's more and more people, unfortunately, are just drinking the Hamas Kool-Aid. And boy, are they going to pay the price.
Yep. Thanks for tuning into the rant today, guys. We trust you got some valuable dialogue, and we hope we didn't hit you too hard. We hope catch us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. Engage us on social media. We'll challenge any perspective you decide to bring, including stupid ones like Israel or colonialists That one just makes me fucking laugh. Or the Palestinians were there first, even stupider. The Palestine are Arab people. P doesn't exist in the Arab language, you idiot. You know, I can go on and on and on, but we're wrapping this up. Keep on ranting, David.